All right, everyone, we have a pretty interesting NBA prop betting day today. We have the Bulls versus the Trailblazers, which I think is going to end up being a pretty solid game for us to stack a bunch of overs with. We also have Sabonis out for the Kings, which I think is leading to us having some pretty darn good edges there. And then with the Sixers still being banged up, I think we are getting some decent spots for them. We'll break that all down here for you guys. Let's go in and get into it. So, guys, I do want to start off with this Portland versus Chicago game, and I want to start out with Sharp. So the biggest question with Sharp is really whether or not Jrue Holiday is going to be active. This is the back end of a back-to-back. Jrue Holiday sat out last night, so kind of leads me to believe he's more likely to play in this game, but he's still truly questionable. So that does matter, okay? Sharp was someone that did come through for us yesterday with his over fantasy score, barely. I think his line was at 36.5, ended up getting 36.9. A little bit of a sweat there. Not the best day yesterday, kind of a typical regression day, just as an FYI, 3 for 8 on the day, which puts us at 16 for 24 on the week. So we'll take 16 for 24 any day of the week. But yeah, like yesterday was a typical regression day after having 2 very solid days in a row. But in regards to this one, guys, Sharp, to get over 37.5 for his fantasy score, the reason why I like this is going to be this high game total of 243.5. It's also projected to be a close game, so that should help him. And if we look at his game log, he really hasn't been getting over 30 minutes, which is something that I don't like, but also games typically aren't staying close for them. So we do need him to get to 30 plus minutes in this game. On top of that, guys, Jeremy Grant was someone that we need to be active in this game as well. Grant ended up sitting last night. We'll see his kind of questionable tag here. Day-to-day ruled out with an illness. So I tend to believe he's probably going to be active in this game. We look at the splits. It is a little bit brutal, right? He is someone that it really does depend on the minutes that he's going to get. We need him to get to 31 minutes, which is what he's projected to get. If he doesn't, that's obviously we don't like that. But he is someone that would help this game stay close. And I think he's part of the reason as to why we're seeing the high game total and the game spread be the way it is. Okay, we look at all the data points. If you want to get to his points, this is a bet that is basically checking all the boxes, but it's a bet that I like mostly in a game stack. If you want to get to his over fantasy score, I think I'd be inclined to do that as well. Again, the bet is mostly 2 things: Jrue Holiday being out, also this game being as high scoring as it's projected to be. And then if that happens, I don't mind Donovan Clean-Yang for over his fantasy score. That's the only bet that we're getting for him right now. We look at the splits. He has been someone that has gotten those overs twice now over the last 2 games. That'd be an extension bet. A bet if we're really trying to stack that game, that'd be a spot where I would want to get to. Let me go ahead and get into the Bulls, guys. Josh Giddey, if we go to the filter call out bets and click on best bets, we are getting a few of his bets being really good bets for us. So his over fantasy score is one that I like getting to. Again, stacking this game, I think this one makes a lot of sense. Okay. No real need to go deeper than that. He is someone that is consistently dominating here, especially if he gets the minutes. That'd be something we could expect him to really continue to do. Okay, we see 30 minutes in the last game, guys. Was able to get the over there, but barely. The other previous games got the minutes there. Not as easy of matchups, and we do really like the matchup here, guys. Not necessarily from like a DVP rank, but from a game total rank. Okay, so maybe the DVP does shy off some people, but I don't really think we have to worry about that. And then Bezulis here as well. I don't mind his over fantasy score. Again, if we are really trying to stack this game, this is a bet that does pop up as one of the best bets on the board where all the data points are checking all the boxes for us. He is someone that has been right around there. Again, you give this game a few more buckets here and there. Maybe he's part of the reason as to why you give him an extra bucket here or there, and he does end up getting the over in really both of these 2 games where he has missed it recently. Now, it is worth calling out, guys, that Chicago is a little bit healthier. Kobe White is back, and that does put a little bit of a wrench into things, but kind of, the players that we're going to be on are still the players that we do expect to get the most amount of minutes there. And then I want to get into another game here, guys. We have the Hornets versus the Pacers. I think this could end up being a pretty good game for us to stack as well. The issue with this game is that all the kind of bets that I would want to be on, we are being told to bet the unders on. Okay, so that's the issue. But I do think that this game is going to end up staying close. Let's talk about Benedict Mathurin. He's like the only one where I think I like his spots. His points bet was one that I liked. It got bumped from 20.5 to 21.5. Probably not a bet that we necessarily need to get to, but this is another game where both these teams, you always worry about kind of the game total and the spread. It's a pretty high game total and a pretty close spread. So we have another game where I think we want to be trying to attack it via stacks. It's kind of the name of this. That's kind of the slate that we have is trying to do stacks, and I think this is going to be a good spot for us. So Mathurin has returned from injury, guys, and since then has gotten all the minutes we'd want him to get. and I think he's going to be in for a good spot again here. And again, mostly just trying to game stack. His points line got bumped from 20.5, so if you want to go with his assist of 22.5, I think that ends up being a decent look for us there. Again, mostly in a game stack. The issue from there is I didn't really like any of the other bets that we were getting for the Pacers. And then on the other hand, a bet that I did like at the start of the day was Ryan Kalkbrenner to get over 8.5 points. They have since bumped that to 9.5 points, to the point where I don't think we necessarily need to be getting there with him. LaMelo Ball, I feel like his lines are basically all correct as well. His PRA is a little bit interesting, but I feel like this is mostly the correct line. But yeah, if we're trying to do a game stack, or if you like the Benedict Mathurin bet, I don't mind this idea of attaching LaMelo Ball for over his PRA as well. We do notice that over the last couple of games, not necessarily getting the over. That's due to the minutes and due to games being some blowouts. So he's projected for 32 minutes. You give him, a few more minutes, he should be able to get the overs there then with his PRA. So again, I really want to stack this game. It's just not there for us, really. And so let's go ahead and get into the Houston Rockets versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, guys. Not necessarily too many bets here that I love, but also I do think we are getting some decent spots. So one bet that I don't mind is Reed Shepherd to get over his points. We do know that Tari Eason is still out for the Houston Rockets. And so with that, I do think we can expect Reed Shepherd, who has been going off recently, to continue to go off. This is another game where game total wise, I don't mind it. 233.7 on average, 1 point spread. It is projected to be a close game. So that should bode well there for Reed Shepherd. That's one of the bets that I want to be going out of my way to target, especially in this game. Again, we are getting a lot of close games and decent game totals. So I think we're getting a lot of game size that we could be on. Another bet that I do like as well would be Donovan Mitchell as well, for over 28.5 points. Now, this would not be a bet that you would want to run out on PrizePicks. This would be more of a traditional sportsbook bet. But again, this is more of a matchup bet, but he has been consistently getting the over. And the reason as to why is because Cleveland is a little bit banged up. Max Strus is still out. Darius Garland is out as well. And you look at his per 36 production with those players off the court, guys, he is averaging 32.7 points with those players off the court per 36. We haven't projected for 34 minutes. So right around there, guys, I do think that ends up being a decent little bet for us. And then for what it's worth, DeAndre Hunter as well, I do like a bet that we are getting with him. That'd be over his points and assists here of 19.5. He's another one per 36 wise, does average the over. The issue is last couple of games really not doing much. It is a good matchup though for him. So that'd be like an extension bet where we're just trying to get another bet in this game. And that'd be the one I'd want to get to make it like a 3-slip bet if you guys are trying to do a game stack. Then we go heading into the Raptors versus the Sixers here, guys. Again, I think we are getting a decent spot here with the Sixers. So the Sixers are going to be pretty banged up in this game. They're going to be without Embiid, Bona, Paul George, and Kelly Oubre. And so just looking at it, we are getting Drummond with his lines being, bumped up a decent amount. But I do like the idea of getting to his points and rebounds here. This bet has a 50.4% likelihood to hit. But the part I like about this is his points line is at 11.5 and his rebounds is at 13.5. So just do the math on that. The points and rebounds should be at 25. Okay, instead. And so overall, I do think this ends up being a pretty good spot for us. We do see that he's been able to get the over the last 3 games, or 3 out of the last 4 games, sorry. And this is really a good spot for him as well. Matchup-wise, ends up being a pretty good matchup. Projected for 30 minutes. He should be able to get 30 minutes. And it is a close game and a good matchup. I like that bet, especially for a player that has been playing extremely well. They're going to be down some big, so he is going to need to get the minutes. Another player that I like as well, where I just don't think the lines are correct on him, is VJ Edgecombe to get over his PRA here. Again, Kelly Oubre is out and Paul George is out. That is huge for him. We do look at the last 2 games where we had similar situations, and he was able to get the overs in those 2 games as well. Per 36 wise, he does crush it, guys. He averages 17.3 points, 7.7 rebounds, and 6.6 assists. All those are +2 compared to his average per 36 with those players off the court. Is projected to get 37 minutes. For what it's worth, guys, Andre Drummond averages 17 and 13. 17 points, 13 rebounds. So both of those are pretty good bets, I think, as well. And then we do need to talk about the Golden State Warriors, guys. So Curry is currently questionable in this game. He is someone that if he ends up sitting, we are going to be getting some pretty good value. On the other side of it, Bam is currently questionable. I think Vegas is kind of expecting him to play, but because of Curry being questionable, we're not necessarily getting great bets. But I do want to talk about Jimmy Butler. Just looking at some of the bets that we're getting for him. So per 36 wise, he is someone that does really benefit with Curry off the court. Averages 3.5 more points compared to his average, which would mean that this bet for his over 21.5 should be closer to really about 23.5. And so I do think that this ends up being a pretty good spot for us. The issue is they are 6.5 point dogs in this game. And obviously if Curry ends up sitting, that's going to hurt them more so. Another player that I do really like, the player that benefits the most and should start, but would get a little bit more usage is Will Richard. We're not getting any prop bets for him just yet, but just as an FY, he is someone that sees a significant bump, about 8.4 more points per 36 compared to his average with Curry off the court. And then we need to go ahead and get into that Kings game because, yes, they're going to be in a good matchup there against the Dallas Mavericks, and we do know that Sabonis is out. So first and foremost, guys, we have a plus EV bet for Klay Thompson to get his over points here of 9.5, 54.4% likelihood for that to hit. If that bet is still there by the time you guys are watching this video, that's obviously a bet that you should be targeting. Apologies, guys. Sorry. Apologies. I clicked on the Knicks versus Mavericks. The only bet that I like in that game is that Klay Thompson over points. Okay, that's a plus EV bet. That's the only one I like in that game. Sorry. Shifting into the Kings versus OKC, the player that I like the most is actually DeMar DeRozan to get his over points here of 18.5. The issue that we have with this game is that it is a difficult matchup, okay? And it's they're projected to get blown out. That's the concern here. Now, DeMar DeRozan is still projected for 36 minutes. We'll see if that ends up coming true. If it does, he'd be part of the reason as to why, though. Now, his per 36 production, guys, with Sabonis off the court is 28.3 points. 28.3 points. His usage goes up by 9.7%. And so I do think this could end up being a spot where we are doing a little bit of game stacks here as well, or even a team stack where you're just betting on the spread to be wrong. 18.5 points, that's pretty big. You just hope that they can keep it close enough for long enough to the point where, sure, it could end up being a blowout, but it's a blowout with the starter still on the court in the fourth quarter. Another player where I'm kind of surprised at the bets that we are getting for him is Drew Eubanks here for over his points, rebounds, and assists. Now, what sucks is this was at 14.5 earlier on in the day, matched with his 14.5 points and rebounds. And so I think if we're just betting on him, we just go with the 14.5 points and rebounds now. But I do like him in the spot. The biggest question is how many minutes is he going to end up getting? So we got to look at his minutes from the last game, 12, 7, 7, 22. So he hasn't necessarily gone a lot of minutes. We do need him to get more than the 19 that he's projected to get, because if he gets that, we're going to notice that this is actually a terrible bet. Okay. So I'm more hoping that this is wrong. I'm hoping that he gets closer to 26 minutes with Sabonis off the court. And if he does, guys, his per 36 production is solid. 15.7 points, 6.9 rebounds, again, with Sabonis off the court. That's per 36 wise. I don't think he's going to get that. I'm hoping that he gets 26 minutes. Now, he does have the most minutes with Sabonis off the court, so that does bode well for him. Now, we are getting some other interesting spots here. We like Russell Westbrook's going to pick up a little bit more usage as well. I don't necessarily want to bet on him. I think his lines are correct. Dennis Schroeder is someone that I don't mind some of the bets that we're getting on him. He has been someone that lately has been crushing over the last couple of games, but I do feel like I don't necessarily love that one. And then Malik Monk, I do feel like Monk should get some run in a blowout. And we do look at his points and assist line here of 12.5. I do think that ends up being a little bit too low. He is someone per 36 wise does consistently average the over, but it really depends on how many minutes he does end up getting. If it's 27, he should be able to get that over. We do look at this game, guys, 0 for 4, 16 minutes 2 games ago, and that's why he was terrible. But for the most part, is consistently averaging this over, especially when he's projected to get 27 minutes. So I do think that ends up being a pretty good spot for us there as well. So guys, we go ahead and get into the 9 to 5 bet of the day. I do want to call it that it is tough to give you guys a bet of the day for today, just in the sense that I broke it down for you guys already. I do think this is a day where we're mostly trying to do game stacks. I think we're getting a lot of really good games, and the game totals are great. The point spread's great. Maybe the game's even going to OT. That'd be lucky. And so I like a lot of the over bets that we are getting. And so These are this is my favorite bet slip that we have. It's not the best slip. We are losing about a 3.5% edge on PrizePicks because, again, the name of the game with PrizePicks or underdog is just placing the bets that have a 54% likelihood or better to hit. So, like, naturally, you'd probably just be better off going with Malik Monk over 12.5 points and assists, maybe with Giddey and maybe with Reed Shepherd for those overs. Maybe a 3-slip bet there. But, again, this is more of a game stacking day. I wish I could give you guys more than that. And I know I'm recording this video before Underdog comes out with their fantasy score lines, guys. That's typically where we are getting some pretty darn big edges. So just be on the lookout for those lines to drop, seeing where we're getting some prop line differences to the point where we can jump on and attack some of those bets as well. And then, guys, I do want to do another call out as well. I did start a 9to5 DFS channel, only 33 subscribers right now. If you guys could jump on over there, subscribe to the channel, that would be greatly appreciated. Trying to get that channel going. I do have to separate the videos now because, well, I want to post more and I can't do that. It just hurts the algorithm. So I'm keeping this channel as more of a betting channel, and that's going to be more of a DFS channel. So give it a subscribe, guys. I would appreciate that. I'm going to be coming out with daily NBA content as well and NFL content there. So please like that or go to that channel and subscribe to the channel there as well. That's going to do it for this video, though. Appreciate you guys being here. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel as well. If you guys would like access to that 9to5 Sports PrizePicks NBA Optimizer, that is included in the 9to5 monthly membership. That is only $10 a month. Appreciate you guys being here. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.